Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be going through 6 lessons that I learned after the last 6 years of trying to quit gaming. For those that aren't aware, I've been trying to quit video games for over 6 years, and it wasn't until I made a fundamental mindset shift about how I view video games that I was able to finally quit once and for all and start building an incredible life for myself here in Thailand. And if you want to know more about that process and how I went about doing it, stick around to the end to see how you can get some free one-to-one training with me personally. But until then, let's get into the lessons. Now, it doesn't matter if we talk about quitting gaming, self-improvement, reading, business, whatever else. There's always going to be trial and error in everything that you do. And it took me a long time to realize this, but the people that are successful have tried and failed countless times before most people have even started. While people are brainstorming and planning what's the best thing to do, coming up with all these different things about what they should do in this situation, what's this versus this, which is the best strategy, these people have already tried, they've already failed, they've learned from it, changed it up, and tried again. It's that rapid implementation that gets people from a point of failure to a point of success much faster than any other method possible. And the same thing goes for quitting gaming. You see, I've quit gaming maybe 12, 15 times over the last 16 years. I honestly can't count. And every single time I did it, I learned something new. Every single time that I quit gaming and found myself in this depressed, anxious, stressed, disheartened state, that period would last less and less time as things went on. The last time I had a relapse back into gaming, it only lasted 3 days. Whereas the first time I did it, I think it took me 6 months before I finally quit gaming again. Maybe even a year. I honestly can't remember. Whereas the first time I tried to do it and I relapsed, it took me 6 to 12 months before I even got back into the mindset of wanting to quit gaming again. So I would fail, I would learn and reflect, and then I would try something new. And over time, I got so good at that I spent days in that down state and months in the up state. So the moral of the story is, if you don't have a specific plan from someone that's already learned how to do it and been through the process, it's going to take you a while to figure things out. But if you implement that rapid action strategy and learn from your failures and try before worrying about the right way to do it, you'll get success a lot faster than someone who does. And the second thing that I've learned after 6 years of trying to quit gaming is that you are not the problem. Video games are. For years, every time I relapsed or had a problem, I always thought I was to blame. I thought I was just bad at time management. I thought I had no discipline. I thought I genuinely wanted to play video games, and it was on me to figure out how to fit my schedule around video games instead of the other way around. But in reality, you are addicted to video games, and you have a problem with video games because games are addictive. That's it. Your gaming addiction is poisonous. It has seeped into your body and it's like infected every part of your brain and your health and your mindset. It's not you, it's the game. It sounds like something out of a crappy sitcom, but it's true. No matter what society tells you, no matter how many times they tell you just to play less, just to do gaming as a reward, just to moderate it and find an accountability partner or get better at time management or learn these productivity hacks, no matter how many times society and your friends tell you to do these things, it is just not true. I'm telling you it is not true. Because I have tried to convince myself dozens of times that it's the opposite. But the reality is, games are addictive, and you're not at fault for becoming addictive to something that is addictive. And segueing nicely into the next point, video games are much more addictive than people realize. Even people you see that are able to moderate their gaming use, they don't realize how addictive video games really are. If you tell someone that smoking is addictive, they tell you, duh, obviously. Everyone knows that smoking is addictive. But when you tell someone that video games are addictive, what's the first thing they'll say? Like, maybe to you. Like, I don't have a problem with video games. I can moderate them. I'm perfectly fine with the life I'm living, and I'm happy playing games the amount that I'm playing. But the reality is, the video game industry is bigger than like movies and music combined. And over 2.5 billion people are playing video games in the world, which is just staggering. It's a third of the population. And the industry is so big, and they have so many resources available to make their games as addictive and alluring as possible, that it's no surprise that they are addictive. Like, it's when people are surprised to find out that others get addicted to video games, it doesn't make any sense. You've got something that's pretty new, maybe 40 years old. I'm not counting like the first Pong as an addictive video game, but it's pretty new compared to something like smoking or drinking and gambling. And it provides so much more dopamine and so much more happiness and release than pretty much anything else on the planet, save for hard drugs or I don't know. And our brains, they're just not developed to cope with this. We don't know what to do. And there's so little research into it. There's so little information out there. And the gaming industry knows this. They know how to play to its strengths. They know how to utilize this lack of information and clarity around the issue to keep you addicted before people get a chance to bring change. And it's something you see all the time. For example, recently they tried to ban loot boxes and successfully did it in a few countries like Belgium. But it wasn't long before you started seeing companies get around these loopholes by labeling them as something other than loot boxes. And this continues to happen, and it will continue to happen as long as gaming remains a huge industry that has the pull, the power that it needs to keep you addicted and to keep its games as fun as possible. And the next thing on my list might surprise a few of you that have tried quitting gaming before or are new to gaming addiction and you've heard other things from other people in the industry. But cravings are a good thing. Now, you might think of cravings as a negative. You might think of them as something that brings on stress and panic. And if this is you, that's okay. It's perfectly normal because that's what you've been led to believe. But I'm here to tell you that there's another way to see cravings. And it's the way that I see them. It's a way that people who have successfully overcome addiction see cravings, whether they know it or not. And that is to reframe them as a good thing. And how do you do that? It's all about reconditioning your brain when you get that craving to flip it completely on its head into a positive. So for an example, if I get a craving to play video games, then I no longer think of that as a craving to play. It's no longer a worry for me. It's not a concern that I'm going to fall back into the depths of gaming addiction and start wasting 16 hours a day and completely derail all of the hard work and effort that I've put into building this incredible life for myself. No, that's just not going to happen. Instead, when I get that craving, what happens is that I see it as a reminder. It's a reminder that I'm free of video games. It's an opportunity to tell myself how grateful I am for this life that I've been given because I quit video games, because I'm free of them. And this craving is no longer a negative. Now it's a reminder of everything I've done up to this point and all the good things that I'm going to do in the future. And it's incredibly powerful. It's life-changing, in fact. It's transformational. It's fundamental to this new way of thinking about gaming addiction. And it's one of the big parts of what I like to teach people. And once you can understand this and start seeing it in action, you won't believe it. Genuinely. And you'll never go back. You'll never go back to gaming. You'll never see them in the same way. And it really is a radical change in your mindset. Number 5 on the list, I think. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Number 5 is about moderation. And if you see my recent video about it, you'll know that if you're a gaming addict, like a genuine addict of video games, it is impossible for you to moderate games. No matter how many times you convince yourself that you want a healthy life with gaming, it is just not the case. It cannot be done. And some of you might be thinking, yeah, but so-and-so managed to bring video games into his life in a healthy way. He just plays a couple of hours here and there. But you have to ask yourself, is that a life that you want? Is that healthy? If you still smoke 1 or 2 cigarettes a day, or at weekends, or after you finished a chore, do you still consider that healthy smoking? No, there's no such thing as healthy smoking. So why, as a gaming addict, are you convinced that there's such a thing as healthy gaming? If it's causing you physical pain, physical stress, physical discomfort, sickness, anxiety, depression, why do you think it's possible for you to have a healthy relationship with it? It's not. It just physically is impossible for you to do it. And this is something that took me a long, long time and so many failed attempts at quitting to realize. Because from the start, I did a detox with the goal of bringing gaming back into my life in a healthy way. And what happened? I relapsed because I was still attached to the idea that gaming could become a part of my life. Instead of moving on and building something amazing and really understanding the scope of the problem in my life that had come about because of gaming, all the depression, the failed relationships, the heartache, the dropping out of university, the suicidal thoughts, everything was because of gaming, and I still thought that I could moderate it. And fortunately, it's not the case. What do you mean, fortunately? Isn't it bad that I'll never be able to play video games again? Why? Why is that a bad thing? So let's say you're in that mindset where you think it's a bad thing that you're going to quit gaming. Think about what that's doing to your brain, to your body. Every time you try and quit, if you've had multiple relapses in the past, why do you think they're happening? If you're still attached to gaming being a part of your life and you can't escape that idea that quitting gaming is only positive for you, it's only positive. If you're still attached to that idea, have some reflection time. Think about, is it really surprising that you're going in and out of relapses, that you're still struggling with gaming addiction? Probably not. That probably has something to do with it. It's all about your mindset, and it all starts with shifting that to view games and view quitting gaming in an entirely different way. And that ties nicely into the last point, where at least 80-90% of your success in quitting video games is your mindset. It doesn't matter if you delete games and go and live on a mountain. If you're still addicted and you're still craving and you're still attached to the idea that one day games will be a part of your life, then you're not going to be as successful as you could be, or as successful as you want to be, because you probably have an idea of the kind of person you want to be, and this person probably doesn't play video games for 8 hours a day. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. But what if that's not you? What if you don't have that clarity and that mission and those goals and that purpose? What can you do about it? You can read books on goal setting and productivity and mastering your clarity and your focus, but you still have that issue of gaming and how that fits into your life. But what if you could speak to someone that knows how to overcome it, that has already been through that process of trial and error and figuring out the best way to not only set goals, but to find your mission, gain clarity and focus every single day and build incredible relationships and energy and passion, but has also struggled with the gaming and quitting and overcoming the societal conditioning that's rooted in your identity? Well, you can. For a limited time, I'm giving people free one-on-one coaching. All you have to do is click the link in the description below, and this is something that has radically transformed people's lives. I've done it with a bunch of people, and I've only had incredible results come from it. It's just one call, completely free. I'm just giving you the tools that you need to start creating a better life for yourself and really move away from gaming once and for all. So click the link below to book a call if you're interested. And until next time, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.